There was a rich man. He wore fine linen and lived in comfort behind closed gates. Every day his table was full. Endless feasts. A life that seemed complete, but just outside his door lay a poor man named Lazarus, hungry, covered in sores, wounded, and forgotten. The rich man saw him day after day, and he did nothing. Sometimes abundance blinds the heart. What happens when comfort makes us stop seeing the suffering at our feet? What happens when compassion is delayed until it is too late? And what happens when the silence of indifference follows us into eternity? And then, both men died. This is a story about two lives moving in opposite directions. One lifted high in this world, one laid low at the gate. It is a story about justice beyond death, about a great chasm no one can cross, and about warnings ignored while there was still time. But more than anything, this is a story about the urgency of compassion. Today, one man who saw but did not act, one man who suffered and was finally comforted, and one truth that will change how you see wealth, mercy, and the afterlife forever. Stay with us until the end, because this message speaks to every heart that still has time to listen. The city was alive. Each morning, the streets slowly filled with sound sandals, brushing against stone, merchants calling out their wares, carts rolling past, voices greeting one another. As the sun climbed higher, life moved forward with confidence, as if tomorrow was already promised. In the center of that city stood a large house. Its gates were tall, solid, carefully crafted. They opened inward, separating what was inside from everything else. Beyond them, the air felt cooler, quieter. Soft music flowed through open corridors. Servants moved with ease, carrying plates heavy with food-warm bread, roasted meat, bowls of fruit glistening in the light. Wine was poured freely. Nothing was counted. Nothing was saved for later. This was the home of a rich man. He wore fine linen, clean and bright, garments made for comfort and display. His hands showed no signs of labor. His days followed a rhythm shaped by ease. When he entered the dining room, the table was already prepared, stretching longer than necessary, filled far beyond hunger.
Sit, there is plenty for everyone.
And there always was. Guests gathered often. Conversations drifted easily from one topic to another. Busyness, plans, memories, laughter. The sound of contentment echoed off walls built to last. The rich man listened, nodded, smiled. This world made sense to him. It was predictable, safe. From inside the house, the city felt distant. Beyond the gates, life was louder, messier, uncertain. But here, doors closed softly. Curtains filtered the sunlight just enough. Problems stayed outside, where they belonged. Within these walls, nothing urgent demanded attention. The rich man did not wake each day wondering how he would survive. He woke knowing the day would provide. Morning brought comfort. Midday brought abundance. Evening brought rest. Day after day, the pattern repeated itself. Steady, reliable, reassuring. It felt permanent. It felt earned. It felt earned. It felt right. He did not think of himself as cruel. He was not violent. He did not set out to harm anyone. He simply lived well. In his mind, this was the reward of a life properly arranged. The city had its troubles, yes, but every city did. Suffering was part of the world, somewhere beyond the gates. Here, life was ordered, polished, complete. The rich man leaned back in his chair, listening to music rise and fall in the background. He lifted his cup without thinking, enjoying the moment. "This is a good life," he said quietly, more to himself than to anyone else, and no one disagreed. From where he stood, there was no reason to look beyond his walls. Nothing called out loudly enough, to disturb the peace he had built. And so he lived, secure, satisfied, surrounded by plenty, never imagining that the true measure of his life was waiting just outside his door. Just outside the rich man's gate lay a man with a name. His name was Lazarus. He was not a shadow, not a rumor, not part of a crowd passing by. He was a person. Lazarus lay on the ground, pressed against the cold stone near the entrance. His body was weak, worn down by hunger and illness. Open sores covered his skin, painful, slow to heal, impossible to hide. He had no strength left to stand, no voice loud enough to be heard inside the house. He did not choose this place because it was comfortable. He chose it because it was the only place where hope still passed by. From where he lay, Lazarus could smell the food. Fresh bread, roasted meat, spices carried by the air whenever the gate opened. He could hear laughter spill out for a moment before the doors closed again. Inside, music. Outside, silence. Lazarus turned his face toward the gate, not with anger, but with longing. He did not dream of feasts or fine clothes. He hoped only for what others did not miss: crumbs that fell unnoticed from the table. Scraps swept away without thought. If only, he whispered, though no one was listening. The gate stood between two worlds. On one side, abundance without worry. On the other, need without relief. Dogs wandered freely near Lazarus. They came close, unafraid, drawn to the scent of his wounds. They licked his sores, not as a cure, but as the only touch of comfort he knew. No hands reached out to clean him. No voice called his name. Only the dogs noticed him. Lazarus remained there day after day. He watched feet pass by, servants, guests, strangers, most stepping around him, some pretending not to see. A few glanced down, then quickly looked away. The rich man passed through that gate often. He never spoke to Lazarus, never asked his name, never wondered how long he had been there. Yet Lazarus knew the rhythm of the house well. He learned it by sound, the timing of meals, the rise and fall of music, the moments when the gate opened and closed again. Each opening brought hope, each closing returned him to waiting. Hunger stayed with him. Pain stayed with him. But Lazarus stayed too, not because he believed help was guaranteed, but because something in him refused to disappear. He remained visible, lying in plain sight, bearing witness simply by being there. The world inside the gate had more than enough. The world outside had almost nothing. And between them stood a door that could have opened wider, but didn't. Lazarus lay still, breathing slowly, eyes half open. He did not curse the rich man. He did not shout. His presence was quiet, steady, undeniable. He was not invisible. He was ignored. Day after day, life continued. The sun rose over the city as it always did. Gates opened. Servants moved in and out. Music returned. The table was set again. Nothing inside the house seemed to change. And outside the gate, Lazarus was still there. He lay in the same place, his body weaker than before, his wounds slow to heal. Some days he shifted slightly, searching for shade. Some days he did not move at all. Hunger stayed with him like a shadow that never left. People passed by. Some noticed him. Most did not. Time did not remove him. Time only made him easier to ignore. The rich man walked through the gate. Each day, he stepped over the stone threshold without thinking, moving between comfort and the world beyond. He saw Lazarus lying there. He could not miss him. The poor man was part of the entrance, close enough to be seen, distant enough to be dismissed. The rich man never said, "Get rid of him." He never said, "Help him." He said nothing at all. Inside, plates were filled. Outside, hunger remained. Inside, laughter rose. Outside, silence answered back. No cruelty marked the rich man's days. No harsh words, no violent acts, only distance, only the quiet choice to keep walking.
This is not my responsibility. Someone else will notice. There will be time later.
And so the days passed. Lazarus watched the gate open and close. Each opening stirred a small hope. Each closing returned him to waiting. He did not demand attention. He simply remained where he could be seen. The gate stood firm between them. It was not just wood and iron. It became a line, drawn slowly, daily between concern and comfort, between seeing and acting. On one side, abundance continued without interruption. On the other, suffering waited without relief. The rich man grew accustomed to the sight of Lazarus. What once might have unsettled him now blended into the background. Pain, when seen often enough and unanswered, becomes familiar. Familiar pain becomes invisible, and so indifference settled in not as a sudden decision, but as a habit. No one forced the rich man to look away. He chose it quietly. Lazarus did not cry out. He did not accuse. His presence alone was the question, and the answer came each day in the same way, by passing through the gate and leaving things as they were. This was the conflict no one noticed, not a clash of voices, not a moment of anger, just the steady refusal to cross the space between seeing suffering and responding to it. The gate remained closed, not locked, not guarded, not sealed, simply closed enough to keep compassion from passing through. And so the greatest distance between these two men was not measured in steps, but in silence. Death did not announce itself. It did not wait for permission. It did not follow schedules or plans. One day, Lazarus stopped breathing. There were no crowds around him, no family to close his eyes, no hands to prepare his body. His suffering ended quietly, right there on the ground where he had waited so long. But he was not alone. As his breath faded, the weight that had pressed on his body lifted. The pain that had followed him for years loosened its grip. Lazarus felt himself carried, not dragged, not hurried, but gently lifted. Angels bore him away. There were no words spoken, yet everything was understood. He was no longer unwanted, no longer ignored. He was received. He was welcomed. He was at peace. Lazarus was brought to the bosom of Abraham, a place of rest, comfort, and belonging. For the first time, there was no hunger, no sores, no waiting. Only calm, like a deep breath finally released. Not long after, the rich man also died. His passing was noticed. His body was prepared. People gathered. He was wrapped, honored, and laid in the ground. The gates of his house closed behind him for the last time. Then he opened his eyes. The comfort he expected was gone. He found himself surrounded not by warmth, but by fire. Not by music, but by anguish. The security he had trusted dissolved in an instant. There were no walls here to protect him, no servants, no table, only awareness. For the first time, the rich man felt need, and there was no one to answer it. He lifted his eyes and saw far away what he had never truly seen before. Abraham, and beside him, Lazarus rested whole, alive in a way he had never been on earth. The rich man recognized him, the man at the gate, the one he passed each day.
"Father Abraham, have mercy on me,"
he cried out, his voice breaking through the distance. His words carried urgency now. Pain had taught him what comfort never did.
"Send Lazarus, just to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue. I am in agony in these flames."
But the answer came gently, firmly.
Child, remember, in your lifetime, you received good things, and Lazarus received hardship.
Now he is comforted, and you are in anguish.
The reversal was complete. What had been hidden was revealed. What had been ignored was honored. What had seemed permanent was gone. Death did not create this truth, it uncovered it. Between them stretched a great chasm, wide, fixed, unmovable. No crossing, no return, no second chance to live differently. The rich man understood now. Too late. The world he trusted had ended. The world he never considered had begun, and eternity stood silent, bearing witness to the choices made when time was still available. From the place of torment, the rich man lifted his eyes. For the first time, he truly saw. Far away beyond the fire and the darkness, he saw Abraham, and resting beside him, he saw Lazarus whole, peaceful, no longer marked by pain. The poor man who once lay at the gate now stood in light, received and honored. The sight struck him deeply. This was the man he had stepped past, the man he had never spoken to, the man whose suffering had faded into the background of his comfort. Now, Lazarus could not be ignored. Understanding came without comfort. Memory rose, sharp and unavoidable. A lifetime of ease, a lifetime of neglect. What had once felt insignificant now stood exposed in the light of eternity. What followed was not punishment born of anger, nor cruelty imposed from without. It was truth uncovered, not created by what lay beyond time. Between them stretched a great chasm, wide, fixed, unmovable. Not a distance that effort could cross, not a space that regret could bridge. It was set firm and final. Only now did the rich man understand. The gate he had passed so easily each day in life had become a divide no one could cross in death. What had once been a daily choice, to act or not to act, had hardened into an unchangeable reality. He had seen suffering. He had delayed compassion. And now time had run out. The rich man lowered his eyes. In life, he had believed there would always be another day, another moment, another chance to notice, to help, to care. But eternity offered no tomorrow, only memory, and memory now burned hotter than the flames around him. The truth stood clear and unyielding. Choices made in silence do not disappear. They follow us. They wait. And when time is gone, they speak. Silence followed Abraham's words. The rich man stood there, the weight of the chasm pressing in from every side. He understood now that nothing could be changed for him. No crossing back, no undoing what had already been done. But his voice rose again.
Then I beg you, send Lazarus to my father's house.
For the first time, his concern moved beyond himself.
I have 5 brothers. Let Lazarus warn them, so they will not also come to this place of torment.
In his plea was fear, but also recognition. He knew the pattern too well. Comfort that dulls the heart, abundance that numbs compassion, days that pass without ever truly listening.
Please, let them be warned.
Abraham's reply came without anger, without delay.
They have Moses and the prophets. Let them listen to them.
The words were clear, steady, complete. The rich man shook his head, unwilling to accept it.
No, Father Abraham, they will not listen. But if someone goes to them from the dead, if they see a miracle, then they will repent.
He believed what many still believe, that proof must be dramatic, that truth must arrive with power and spectacle, that hearts change only when forced by signs. Abraham's answer did not rise in volume. It did not need to.
If they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, they will not be convinced even if someone rises from the dead.
The words settled like a final seal. The problem was not lack of evidence. It was lack of listening. God had already spoken through the law, through the prophets, through words repeated generation after generation. The truth had been placed within reach, not hidden, not reserved for the few, but hearing had been replaced by habit. Listening had been drowned out by comfort. Miracles do not change hearts that refuse to listen. Even resurrection cannot force repentance. The rich man fell silent. In that silence, the meaning became clear. The path to conversion had always been open, always available, always near. It did not depend on signs from beyond the grave, but on attention given in ordinary days. The warning had already been spoken, again and again, while time still remained. Now, there was nothing more to say. The climax of the story was not a miracle performed. It was a truth revealed. God's word is enough, always has been, always will be. And the question no longer belonged to the rich man's brothers alone. It now rested with every heart still able to listen. The story does not change its ending. Lazarus remains where he is comforted, at rest, held in peace. The rich man remains where he is aware now, but unable to return, unable to undo what time has sealed. Nothing shifts their fate. No scene is rewritten. No miracle interrupts the outcome. What changes is the direction of the story. It turns toward us. Because this parable was never meant to satisfy curiosity about heaven or hell. It was never meant to give us answers about the next life while leaving this one untouched. It was meant to interrupt us. Here, now, while time is still ours to choose with. The gate still stands, not the ancient gate of stone and iron, but the gates we pass through every day, the doors we open without thinking. The doors we close gently, almost politely, the boundaries we slowly build between our comfort and someone else's pain. Somewhere near us, there is a Lazarus. Not a symbol, not a statistic, not a distant problem. A person, a name we might not know. A face we have seen more than once. A presence we have learned to step around without noticing how often we do it. Someone lying just close enough to see, yet far enough to ignore. Who is the Lazarus at your gate? Is it the coworker everyone jokes with, but no one truly checks on? The neighbor whose struggles feel complicated, inconvenient, easy to explain away? The person asking for help at the corner you drive past every morning, telling yourself there must be someone better suited to respond? We often say, I didn't know what to do, or I wasn't sure it was my place, or I meant to help later. Later feels safe. Later feels responsible. Later feels endless. But this story reminds us that later is not promised. The rich man was not condemned for cruelty. He was not accused of hatred. His life did not end with a dramatic sin, but with a quiet habit, seeing suffering and choosing, again and again, not to cross the space toward it. The distance was never large, just a few steps, just a pause, just a moment of attention, just a decision to care. And yet, those small choices repeated over time shaped an eternal reality. This is where the story gently presses on our hearts. Where is your gate? What comforts have quietly trained you to look away? What routines protect you from seeing what might cost you time, energy, or security? What fears whisper that compassion is someone else's responsibility? God does not wait for grand gestures. God does not demand dramatic signs. God waits for listening hearts. The law and the prophets are still speaking. The call to love is still clear. The invitation to mercy is still open. Today, not tomorrow. Not when life slows down. Not when it feels safer or more convenient. Today, because compassion practiced now becomes hope later. Because mercy chosen in time reshapes eternity. Because the choices that seem small today are the ones that echo the longest. The story ends without noise. No final image of fire. No dramatic rescue. No closing argument. Just a question left hanging in the air. Will we listen? The scream grows quiet. The music fades, and in the stillness, the invitation remains. Take a moment. Breathe. Ask God to show you the gate you pass through each day, and the Lazarus waiting there. Then pray for the courage not only to feel moved, but to stop, to see, to cross the distance, to act while there is still time. If this story spoke to your heart, we invite you to subscribe to Bible Animated and walk with us as we continue sharing the gospel through stories of hope and mercy. Please like this video and share it with someone who may need this message today. Most of all, we invite you to leave a comment below. Share what touched you, your prayer, or how this story speaks to your life. Your comments encourage us deeply and help build a community where faith is shared, heard, and lived. Your support gives us strength to keep creating and spreading gospel values together.